Okay. Hey, Practicum students. I wanted to show you what a test case was. Um, so you are going to make a Google Sheets, um, and I have some requirements that I typed out, and then I wrote some test cases um, for said requirements so that you could see what I'm looking for. Um, so like I make Pac-Man. So the first one requirement would be like the system will respond to direction buttons to move the character. And then the other thought was the requirement was like, okay, once you're moving, you're gonna grant points when the player crosses normal pellets. And so um, I guess I should say um, so this would be wrong, but fix it, make it better for you. There we go. Uh, so that would probably be like a third requirement. The system will remove pellets when crossed or activate it or whatever. Make more things on that. Okay, so you would probably have both of you probably have two use cases. And so my first one's like play the game. And so to test, play the game requirement one. So test case one. So a test case is how I'm going to test if my requirements are done. And we're going to shoot for about 5 test cases um, per requirement. You want to do things where you try to break it. You want to, and you're doing all this before you write your code, so that you can say, I want to try to break my code before it's written, so that when it's written, I will know if I made a good project. It won't be just because I decided I'm done. It will be because I'm tired of doing work. It will be because I have done a good product and I have tested it and it looks good. And so I'm going to have you guys write this, and then my plan, if we can get there, is to have the um, computer science students, AP Computer Science A students, work with y'all on coding your games. We're working on game coding right now. Um, and if you want me to give y'all tutorials, or if y'all want to meet, shoot me a message and I'll instead of a Zoom meeting to get that going. I'm excited to meet y'all eventually. Um, but anyway, so I wanted to show you this so that you can make test cases and you can know when you made a good product. And so we're going to say the requirement is A1, so this is A1. And all I want, like if you were testing to see if the system will respond to direction buttons to move the character. So you would try to move the character up with whatever direction. You might press the up button, or you might press W, or whatever. And then the expected output is the character moves up. And then for actual, we're not going to fill these in until we actually test it. So whoever actually tested it and say, okay, this happened. And if it's wrong, then they're going to send it back to the coders, and they're going to say, hey, this didn't work. And so that's the actual output. Verified by who tested it, and when was it verified. So if I was looking at real product, I've had students who like turned in like I verified everything in one night, and it's like 100 test cases. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you did. And so we do it step by step. Whoever tests it, they verify it, make sure it works, go on. A lot of times you can do multiple gameplays at once, and they go pretty quick. But anyway, so another thing we might do is do down, and you'll notice I don't have left or right, but that could easily be another couple of test cases. Diagonal. Just try to be creative in terms of how you could test it. And so we're shooting for about 5 per requirement. Not a hard fast rule. If you can't think of something, don't stress out about it. But anyway, so you try to move them down. The character moves down. And then the other thing I thought was like, okay, well, what if I press up and I stop pressing up and he still goes up? So I want him, when I stop moving, when I stop pressing a direction, I want him to stop. And maybe that's not how your game works. So maybe you would have a different one. But anyway, so I press up, I stop pressing up, and my thing says the character goes up and it stops moving. And then requirement 2 is this guy. So this is A2, and when we get to the use case B, then you will label them B1, B2, B3. So A2 is this one, and is the system will grant points when the player crosses normal pellets. And so you say, have the player cross pellet in the maze, character gets points for the pellet. And then you might do something like have the character cross the pellet and then cross it again, and it shouldn't be getting more points than one. And then you could be very specific in your input and what you expect them to get. And then and then you could test. This one's totally testable too. The system will have pellets removed. I originally wrote a poor test case where I said cross the pellet, and then I would said the character gets points for the pellet and the pellet's gone. But that's incorrect, because that would just be a whole another test case. Because if only one of those things were broken, then you would want to report the specific issue to your coders, to your developers, instead of just saying it just doesn't work. Like it's really hard to debug a program. I'm sure you know when someone says it just doesn't work, and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. So anyway, that's test cases. I hope this helps. If it doesn't, shoot me a message, leave me a comment, ask me questions, and if y'all want to meet or are available sometime in the day, let me know, and we'll try to work out a time. Okay, bye.